I fear bad people, not wounded ones.
The CEO whose love became an obsession until the unexpected happened. The first time Kang Ji-hoon felt afraid, it was not in the boardroom. Not during billion-dollar deals. Not when rivals tried to destroy his company. It was the morning Arielle walked into his office and spoke to him like he was human. Not a king. Not a monster. Not a CEO. Just a man. And that changed everything. Kang Ji-hoon controlled everything. His company ran on his rules. His workers moved when he spoke. His face never showed fear. Never showed love. People said his heart was made of ice. But ice melts when it meets fire. And Arielle was quiet fire. She arrived on a rainy Monday. Black coat. Soft walk. Calm eyes. No fear. Most people trembled when they entered Ji-hoon's office. Some even forgot their names. But Arielle looked at him and smiled gently. "Good morning, Mr. Kang. I'm Arielle, your new consultant." Her voice was steady. Ji-hoon lifted his eyes slowly. He expected fear. He expected respect. Instead, he saw peace. Something strange moved inside his chest. He nodded. "Sit." She sat. Not stiff. Not shaking. Just calm. The meeting started. Numbers. Plans. Problems. Other consultants tried to impress him. Arielle didn't. She spoke only when needed. And when she spoke, everyone listened. "Your company is strong," she said softly. "But strength without trust breaks faster than glass." The room froze. No one talked to Ji-hoon like that. His eyes narrowed. "What did you say?" She didn't apologize. She repeated calmly. "People work better when they feel safe, not scared." Silence. Ji-hoon should have been angry. Instead, he was curious. After the meeting ended, others rushed out. Arielle stayed behind to pack her files. Ji-hoon watched her. The way her hands moved. The way she breathed. The way she didn't rush. "Why aren't you afraid of me?" he asked suddenly. She looked up surprised. "Should I be?" He stood slowly. People feared him everywhere. "Yes." Arielle smiled softly. "I fear bad people, not wounded ones." That sentence hit him like thunder. Wounded. No one ever said that to Kang Ji-hoon. She bowed politely and walked out. But Ji-hoon stayed frozen. For the first time in years, his heart remembered how to beat fast. From that day, Arielle became impossible to ignore. Ji-hoon told himself it was business. Just work. Nothing more. But when she left the office, his eyes followed the door. When she didn't answer emails fast, his mind grew loud. When another manager laughed with her, something burned in him. Not anger. Fear. Fear of losing something he never owned. He started assigning her close projects. "Sit beside me in meetings. Join my private reviews. Attend the gala with me." At first, Arielle obeyed. She thought it was professional. But slowly, she noticed something strange. Ji-hoon always wanted her near. Too near. At events, he watched her more than the guests. If she stepped away, his eyes searched the room. If she smiled at others, his jaw tightened. One night at a company dinner, Arielle finally asked, "Mr. Kang, do you trust me?" He paused. Trust was a word he buried years ago. "Yes," he lied. She tilted her head. "Then why do you watch me as if I might disappear?" Ji-hoon had no answer. Because the truth was dangerous. Because once, long ago, he trusted someone. And she destroyed him. His first love stole company secrets. Left him broken. Humiliated him. Since then, Ji-hoon learned one thing. Control everything. So nothing hurts you again. And now, Arielle was slipping past his walls. That scared him. One evening, rain poured outside the building. Everyone left except Arielle and Ji-hoon. The office was quiet. Ji-hoon walked to her desk. "You should go home." She smiled. "You too." They stood close. Too close. The lights reflected on her skin. Her calm eyes looked into his. Ji-hoon's chest felt tight. "Arielle, why did you come to Korea?" She hesitated. "Because running from pain only makes it chase you faster." He stared. She added softly, "I lost people too." For the first time, Ji-hoon felt understood. Without thinking, he said, "I don't like when you're far." Her eyes widened. That's not healthy, Mr. Kang. He clenched his hands. I don't mean it badly, she whispered. Control is not care. The words settled between them like smoke. Ji-hoon felt his walls cracking. But instead of opening them, he tightened his grip. The next weeks, Ji-hoon kept her closer. Private rides, late meetings, constant calls. At first, Arielle smiled. Then she grew quiet. One afternoon, she didn't join his meeting. Ji-hoon's chest burned. He stormed into her office. Why weren't you there? She stood calmly. Because I'm your consultant, not your shadow. The air froze. Ji-hoon's voice lowered. I need you near. Arielle shook her head slowly. No, you need control. His eyes darkened. I care. She looked into his soul and said the truth. You don't love me. You're scared of being alone again. The sentence crashed into him. Harder than any business loss. His world shook. Arielle continued gently. You keep me close because losing me feels like losing yourself. Silence swallowed the room. Ji-hoon felt naked. Exposed. Weak. Something he hated. Yet, something honest. Ji-hoon turned away. His reflection in the glass looked broken. All his life, he believed love meant possession. Hold tight. Don't let go. But Arielle's words showed him something painful. Love isn't a cage. Love is space. Trust. Choice. He whispered. What if I let go and you leave? Arielle smiled sadly. Then you would lose me honestly, not by force. His chest hurt. For the first time, Ji-hoon felt fear without armor. Not business fear. Heart fear. And that was only the beginning of his change. After Arielle spoke those words, the room felt different. Not cold. Not angry. Heavy. Ji-hoon stood near the window, watching rain slide down the glass. For years, he built his heart like his company, strong walls, tight locks, no visitors. But Arielle walked in without permission. And instead of stealing, she planted something inside him. Feeling. He turned slowly. Arielle, when you leave the office, my mind doesn't rest. She stayed quiet. When I see you smile at someone else, my chest burns. Her eyes softened. When I don't hear your voice, the day feels empty. His voice shook slightly. I don't know when this started, but I know it's real. Arielle breathed in. Ji-hoon, feelings grow fast when fear is hiding behind them. He stepped closer. I'm not afraid of love. She looked at him gently. You're afraid of loss. That truth hit again. But this time, he didn't run from it. The next days changed Ji-hoon in small ways. He stopped calling her every hour. He stopped demanding her seat beside him. He stopped tracking her schedule. Instead, he waited. And waiting was harder than controlling. Yet, something strange happened. Arielle began coming closer by herself. She visited his office without being called. She brought him tea when meetings tired him. She smiled more. Ji-hoon noticed every detail. The way her eyes shined when she laughed. The way she folded her hands when thinking. The way her voice calmed storms in him. At night, Ji-hoon lay awake. Not thinking of money. Not thinking of rivals. Thinking of Arielle. Her words. Her steps. Her silence. His heart, once frozen, now beat too loudly. One evening, they worked late again. Only the sound of computers and rain filled the room. Arielle stretched her arms. You work too much. He smiled slightly. You changed my habits. She laughed softly. That's dangerous. He looked at her. Not for me. They sat close. Their shoulders nearly touched. Ji-hoon felt heat move through him. Not desire. Connection. He whispered. When you're near, my head is quiet. She froze. Then slowly said. That's because you stopped fighting yourself. Ji-hoon turned to her. Arielle, what am I to you? Her breath slowed. You're a man learning how to breathe again. His heart jumped. That answer stayed with him all night. Days passed. Ji-hoon's love stopped being fear. It became care. When Arielle looked tired, he canceled meetings. When she coughed, he sent soup instead of orders. When she felt sad, he listened instead of controlling. The company noticed. The CEO is smiling. The CEO is softer. They didn't know Arielle was the reason. Ji-hoon's feelings grew deeper, slower, warmer. Not obsession. Attachment. One afternoon, they walked in the company garden. Flowers moved in the wind. Arielle touched a leaf. People are like plants, she said. If you pull them too hard, they break. Ji-hoon nodded. And if you water them gently, they stay. She looked surprised. He smiled. I learned that from you. Their eyes met. Something invisible tied them closer. But love never grows without storms. One morning, Ji-hoon's assistant rushed in. Sir, Arielle received an overseas offer. Ji-hoon's chest tightened. Where? New York. The world went quiet. Ji-hoon sat slowly. The fear returned. But this time, he didn't grab it. He breathed. That evening, he met Arielle. She already knew. Yes, she said. They want me for a big project. Ji-hoon's voice was calm, but his heart shook. Will you go? She watched him carefully. I want to see what you'll do first. He understood. If he controlled her, he would lose her. If he trusted her, he might keep her. Ji-hoon swallowed. Arielle, I won't hold you. Her eyes widened. If you go, go freely. Silence. Rain whispered outside. Then Arielle smiled real, warm, deep, and stepped closer. Ji-hoon, you're changing. His voice was low. Because loving you feels better than owning you. Her breath caught. Their faces moved closer. Not touching yet, but hearts already meeting. And neither of them knew. The next choice Arielle would make would test Ji-hoon's heart more than anything before. After Arielle smiled at him that night, the space between them felt smaller. Not because their bodies moved, because their hearts did. Ji-hoon stood very still. He had faced angry investors, powerful enemies, huge losses. But hearing Arielle breathe close to him was harder than all of that. Rain tapped the windows. Arielle, he whispered. She looked at him. Her eyes were gentle but strong. Ji-hoon, she said softly. When I first met you, you were a locked door. He listened. Cold, quiet, alone. His chest moved slowly. But inside that door, there was a boy who was tired of being strong. Ji-hoon felt his throat tighten. She stepped closer. I saw you watching the door when I left. I saw your hands shake when I didn't answer fast. I saw your jealousy hiding behind silence. He lowered his head. I didn't want to scare you. She touched his hand lightly. You didn't scare me. Her voice warmed. You showed me your fear. Ji-hoon raised his eyes. Fear was something he never shared. Arielle continued. At first, I thought you were just controlling. But then I realized you were protecting your broken heart. His breath caught. She smiled softly. Ji-hoon, you didn't fall in love with me because of my face. You fell because I made you feel alive again. Tears touched his eyes for the first time in years. He didn't hide them. Arielle stepped even closer, close enough to hear each other's hearts. Ji-hoon, she whispered. I love you. The world stopped. Not slowed. Stopped. Those 3 words struck his soul. He had not heard them since betrayal took everything from him. His hands trembled. Arielle. She smiled gently. I didn't plan it. It grew quietly. From the way you tried. From the way you listened. From the way you changed. His chest burned with something warm. Not obsession. Hope. He lifted his hand slowly, afraid to break the moment. You love me. She nodded. Yes. Ji-hoon closed his eyes. A single tear slipped. He laughed softly, broken and happy. For years. I thought love was dangerous. She whispered. Love is only dangerous when you cage it. He opened his eyes. And for the first time in his life, Kang Ji-hoon felt safe inside someone else's heart. They didn't rush. They just stood. Feeling. Breathing. Trusting. Ji-hoon finally spoke. Arielle, when you're near, my world is quiet. She smiled. And when you're honest, mine feels safe. They sat together on the office couch. Not touching too much. Just close. Ji-hoon watched her fingers. You changed my company, he said. But more, you changed me. She laughed softly. That's because you allowed it. He nodded. For the first time, I wanted change. The lights outside the building shined like stars. Ji-hoon suddenly felt afraid again. Not fear of loss. Fear of hurting her. Arielle. Yes! If one day I fall back into control, stop me. She smiled. I will. He looked into her eyes. And if you ever feel trapped, she finished gently. I'll tell you before I break. Their hearts promised silently. The next morning, the company felt different. Ji-hoon walked in smiling. People whispered, "The CEO is glowing." Arielle arrived later. When she stepped inside, Ji-hoon's heart jumped. Not with fear, with joy. She smiled when she saw him. They didn't hide it anymore. Not loudly, but truthfully. During meetings, Ji-hoon asked her opinions first. Not because he owned her, because he trusted her. At lunch, he waited for her. Not demanded, invited. One afternoon, Ji-hoon surprised her with a small note on her desk. It read, "Thank you for teaching my heart how to breathe." Arielle touched the paper slowly. Her eyes shined. She walked to his office. Without knocking, Ji-hoon looked up. She smiled. "I love you again." His heart jumped. He stood. Slowly, carefully, he wrapped his arms around her. Not tight, not controlling. Safe. Arielle rested her head on his chest. For the first time, Ji-hoon felt love without fear. After Ji-hoon held Arielle in his arms, the world felt softer. Not perfect. Not loud. Just right. They stayed like that for a long time. Not speaking. Listening to each other's hearts. Ji-hoon finally whispered, "For years, I hugged no one." Arielle smiled against his chest. "And now? Now. I don't want to stop." She laughed quietly. Love grew in small moments. Morning tea. Quiet talks. Soft smiles. Ji-hoon stopped living only for work. He started living for her. One afternoon, Ji-hoon looked nervous. Arielle noticed. "You're quiet today." He hesitated. "There's someone I want you to meet." Her heart jumped a little. "Who?" He breathed in. "My father." Arielle paused. The powerful Kang family was famous in Korea. Rich. Proud. Strong. She looked at Ji-hoon. "Does he like surprises?" Ji-hoon smiled slightly. "He likes truth." That weekend, Ji-hoon drove Arielle to his family home outside Seoul. The house was big. White walls. Calm garden. Birds sang softly. Arielle's hands rested in her lap. Ji-hoon noticed. Nervous? She smiled. Only a little. He reached over and held her hand. "You don't need fear." The gate opened slowly. Inside the house, an old man waited. Tall. Kind eyes. Gray hair. Kang Min-suk, Ji-hoon's father. When he saw Arielle, his eyes warmed immediately. Not cold. Not judging. Warm. Ji-hoon bowed. "Father." The old man smiled. "My son." Then he looked at Arielle. "You must be the woman who changed his face." Arielle blinked. "My face?" He laughed softly. "Yes." Ji-hoon finally looks alive. Arielle smiled shyly. "I'm Arielle, sir." Before she could bow, the father held her hands. "Welcome." His voice was full of joy. "I have been waiting to meet you." Ji-hoon's eyes widened slightly. "Waiting?" His father laughed. "My staff tells me everything." Arielle laughed softly too. The tension melted. They sat in the living room. Tea steamed between them. Ji-hoon's father watched Arielle carefully. Not to judge. To understand. He finally said, "You speak calmly." Arielle nodded. "Peace keeps the heart strong." The father smiled deeply. "Good answer." He turned to Ji-hoon. "You were once angry at the world." Ji-hoon lowered his eyes. "I know." His father touched his shoulder. "But now you smile when she enters a room." Ji-hoon looked at Arielle and smiled again. The father laughed happily. "That tells me everything." He turned to Arielle. "My son forgot how to be human." Arielle blinked. "But you reminded him." Her heart moved. "I didn't change him," she said softly. "I just showed him himself." The old man's eyes shined. "Then you are already family." Ji-hoon froze. "Father." His father raised his hand. "No conditions. No tests. He smiled at Arielle warmly. If my son loves you, I love you. Arielle's eyes watered. She bowed deeply. Thank you, sir. He gently lifted her up. No bowing in family. Ji-hoon felt something heavy leave his chest. Relief. Joy. Peace. After tea, Ji-hoon walked with Arielle in the garden. Flowers danced in the wind. She looked at him. Your father is kind. He nodded. He waited for me to become myself again. She smiled. And now? He held her hands. Now I am. Their eyes met. Ji-hoon whispered. When my father accepted you, my heart felt complete. Arielle's voice was soft. Because love grows stronger when it's shared. He smiled. Arielle, you didn't just enter my life. She tilted her head. You rebuilt it. She laughed quietly. You rebuilt mine too. They stood in the sunlight. Not a rich CEO. Not a consultant. Just two hearts learning happiness. That night, Ji-hoon's father called Arielle aside. He smiled gently. My son was lonely for a long time. Arielle listened. He carried success, but not warmth. She nodded. He has warmth now. The old man smiled. Because of you. He bowed his head slightly. Please stay beside him. Arielle's heart touched deeply. I will, she whispered. When they drove back to the city, Ji-hoon felt lighter than ever. He looked at Arielle beside him. Not fear. Not control. Only love. He whispered. Arielle, thank you for choosing me. She smiled. I didn't choose you because you're a CEO. He glanced at her. Then why? She looked into his eyes. Because your heart learned how to love. Ji-hoon smiled softly. And deep inside, he knew. Their story was only beginning. Not ending. Just growing. The days after meeting Ji-hoon's father felt brighter. Not because life became easy, but because love made it lighter. Ji-hoon and Arielle stopped hiding how they felt. In the mornings, Ji-hoon waited for her at the door. Not as a boss, as a man in love. When Arielle walked in, his eyes always searched for her first. And when she smiled back, his whole world felt calm. They worked together, ate together, laughed together. Sometimes, they sat in silence. And silence with love felt better than words. One evening, Ji-hoon took Arielle to the top of his company building. The city lights looked like stars. Wind touched her hair gently. Why did you bring me here? She asked. Ji-hoon looked nervous. I spent my life chasing power. He paused. Money. Control. Respect. He turned to her. But when you came, I learned something. Arielle listened quietly. I learned that success without love is empty. He reached for her hands. Arielle, you didn't just change my habits. She smiled softly. You changed my heart. Her eyes shined. He continued. I used to hold people tight because I was afraid. Now I hold you gently because I trust. I don't know what I would have been without you. You literally changed my world. Arielle's breath slowed. Ji-hoon. He smiled. You taught me that love is not a cage. It is a home. Her eyes filled with tears. They sat on the bench together. Arielle rested her head on his shoulder. Do you remember when you watched the door when I left? She teased. Ji-hoon laughed quietly. Yes, I was scared. And now? Now I'm peaceful. She looked at him. Because you know I stay by choice. He nodded. That's the best kind of love. They watched the city breathe. Cars moved. Lights blinked. Life continued. But their hearts were steady. Months passed. Ji-hoon became a different CEO. Kinder. Calmer. Stronger in a softer way. People said, CEO Kang listens now. And it was true. Because Arielle taught him how to listen not only to others, but to himself. At home, they cooked together. Sometimes the food burned. They laughed. Sometimes they argued. They learned. And every night, Ji-hoon thanked the quiet miracle called love. One morning, Ji-hoon woke before Arielle. Sunlight touched her face. He watched her breathe. Not with fear. Not with jealousy. With gratitude. He whispered softly. You made my lonely world warm. Arielle opened her eyes slowly. You're awake, she smiled. He nodded. I was thinking. About what? about how obsession once lived in my heart. She listened. And how you turned it into care. Arielle smiled. Because love grows best when it's free. He leaned close. And you chose me freely. She kissed his cheek. Every day. Later that day, Ji-hoon's father visited. He watched them laugh in the kitchen. The old man smiled deeply. My son looks whole. Arielle bowed slightly. And your home feels warm. Ji-hoon's father laughed. Because love finally lives here. Ji-hoon looked at Arielle. And in his eyes was no control. Only devotion. That night, under the quiet sky, Ji-hoon held Arielle's hands. When I first met you, he said, I thought love meant possession. She smiled. And now? Now I know love means becoming better for the person you love. Arielle's eyes softened. She whispered. And you became beautiful. Ji-hoon pulled her close. Not tight. Not afraid. Safe. Then he kissed her deeply and passionately. Two hearts beating together. The CEO who once lived in control, now lived in trust. The woman who walked in calmly, walked into his forever. And their story didn't end in power. It ended in peace, in love, and in a future they chose together. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more amazing stories to come.